Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Raw. I'm your host, Kris Recaps. It is nice to talk to you guys today. Today, we are talking about the NXT tapings, the recent tapings, the plethora of news coming out of it. And two things real quick. First, as you can see in the background, it is not my normal background. This is not my normal background. Usually I have a blue background. Right now, ironically, I am in Florida. I was not at the NXT tapings. I wasn't there in time for the NXT tapings. I left last night, and the tapings were last night, so I didn't get a chance to go to the tapings. So, second off, please do hit that subscribe button. I've been up since it's 12 o'clock right now, 12:36. I've been up since 11 o'clock last night. I couldn't sleep at all in the car. But right now, I'm pushing through it. I'm pushing through it because all that's in my hindsight is 100 subscribers, and that is my goal by SummerSlam to reach 100 subscribers. And God damn it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. If it takes everything out of me, we are going to hit 100 subscribers by SummerSlam. We will hit 1,000 subscribers by WrestleMania. Book it, book it. So let's get into the NXT tapings. By the way, this contains spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about NXT in the following weeks, click out because there will be spoilers in this video. So click out if you don't want to know any of the spoilers. So now that everybody's clicked out, let's do this. Triple H comes out during the pre-show commentator entrances and personally introduces Mauro Ranallo to the commentary desk. This is great to have Mauro Ranallo back on commentary in the WWE. He brings a special feel to the product. I mean, he's working Bellator, he's working boxing, and when you hear him on WWE television, he sounds like a big deal. He makes the match feel like a big deal. He's a fantastic commentator, probably the best commentator in the business, and I think with Nigel McGuinness and Percy Watson, I think he's really going to strive. Two very hungry guys, and I never thought that him and JBL fit. I always said that. I never thought him, JBL, or Otunga fit, and sadly, it was Mauro Ranallo that faced the consequences of that commentary team not blending together, even though we all know the announcers next to him were just completely incompetent at their job. So we're going to move on. Another thing that stood out to me was Bianca Belair, formerly known as Bianca Belair, if anybody really knows who she is. I actually knew about Bianca Belair because I saw a YouTube video about her on the WWE YouTube page, and she beat Aaliyah qualifying for the Mae Young Classic. There were about 3 qualifying matches for the Mae Young Classic, which I actually like. Because the Mae Young Classic is supposed to be something that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity should not be bestowed upon just anybody. You should have to earn it. And I like that they're doing Mae Young Classic qualifying matches on NXT. I really do like that because you shouldn't just be handed a life-changing opportunity like that. You should earn it. So that's what happened here. The continued push of the Velveteen Dream is in effect. He beat Ho-Ho Loon. I really wonder with the Velveteen Dream how far he's going to go in NXT. Is he NXT Championship material? No. I don't know. His ceiling is very low in NXT to me. It really is. So I don't know where they're going with Velveteen Dream. He definitely has the talent to be NXT main event caliber guy, but the gimmick is, at least to me, very out there. And I don't think it's going to get over with the WWE Universe. I enjoy the Velveteen Dream because he's fantastic in the ring, but I can see the WWE Universe kind of tuning out when he's out there. Johnny Gargano comes down to the ring for a promo, and it's great to have Johnny wrestling back on WWE television. He has been greatly missed. To me, Johnny Gargano is one of the best workers in this company, in the business. And, when DIY broke up, I disagreed with it because I thought they would have worked their magic on the main roster. I thought the perfect feud would have been DIY versus the Usos because, the number one rule in booking a wrestling show is that opposites attract. And those two teams are so opposite of one another that it would have made for a very compelling storyline. You have the Usos, who are, the dirty heels, against DIY, who's the typical babyface. And I thought it would have been a great dynamic. But Johnny Gargano is back. He is fantastic. I can't wait to see what he does in NXT as a singles competitor. And he said that he will be at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn no matter what. I may have a theory what he's going to be doing later on, but for now, I can't wait to see what Johnny Gargano does in NXT for the time being. We have Ember Moon over Ruby Riott. This to me says a lot, because you look at the NXT women's landscape, there's 4 women at the top: Asuka, Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott. And when I see Ember Moon and Ruby Riott going at it, one thing that it screams to me is number 1 contenders match. And maybe they didn't announce it for the tapings to the live crowd. I would suspect that they would have said something about it backstage, that this is a number 1 contenders match. And it looks like Ember Moon will be going on to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn to go up against Asuka. Will she win? Probably not, but I'm very much looking forward to that match. We have Bobby Roode over Roderick Strong. And this was the NXT Championship match that was hyped up for, I believe, the 400th episode. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bobby Roode beats Roderick Strong, so I guess that's not the match that they're going to be doing at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, even though I heavily advised them doing that match, because I thought, that would be a perfect story for Roderick Strong to win the NXT Championship in such an arena like the Barclays Center. I would have very much enjoyed that. And it doesn't look like they're going in that direction, at least now. I definitely do think that Roderick Strong will be the NXT champion in the near future. I just think that right now it's not his time. Even though I would put the belt on him at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, it's not his time at the moment. So, or at least in Triple H's eyes. Will he be the NXT champion one day? Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Think of the matches he could have, especially with the talent coming in like Adam Cole. Marty Scurll will be in WWE very, very soon. So just think of the matches he could have with the talent coming in and with the talent that is already placed in NXT. He could have a rematch with Andrade Cien Almas. There's a lot of dream matches for Roddy Strong. Maybe I'll do like a countdown video, dream matches for Roddy Strong, because he is fantastic in the ring. He's one of my favorite in the company at the moment. I wish he would have had this match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, but it's not happening at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and now's not the time for Roderick Strong to win the championship. Probably the biggest story coming out of this, Bobby Fish debuts in NXT, and he went up against Aleister Black. The thing is, though, Aleister Black beat Bobby Fish. I'm not sure this is the right way to have Bobby Fish debut in NXT, because from a booking standpoint, Aleister Black versus Bobby Fish, especially for knowing the fact that Bobby Fish just debuted in NXT, I don't think that was the right move, because it's a lose-lose situation, unless they're doing the storyline that I was thinking about, because I was in a car for around 18 hours yesterday, so I had a lot to think about. And what I was thinking about is Aleister Black beats Bobby Fish, okay, and maybe Bobby Fish, when he goes up against higher level talent like Aleister Black, like Drew McIntyre, Bobby Roode, Roderick Strong, higher level talent, he loses those big matches, and maybe he feels like he needs somebody else to help him. So he enlists his friend Kyle O'Reilly, and they create Red Dragon in NXT. And I think that'd be a great replacement for Gargano and Ciampa, who are now out of the NXT Tag Team division. Speaking of the NXT Tag Team division, Authors of Pain beat Heavy Machinery to retain the NXT Tag Team Championship. So I guess they had a match I know that they had a match at the tapings. And I guess, Triple H didn't believe in this match as much as, some pundits on YouTube did. I said it as well. I didn't think that Authors of Pain and Heavy Machinery should have been the match for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, especially due to the fact that Authors of Pain are still very, I wouldn't say raw. They're still very inexperienced. And, Heavy Machinery is the definition of inexperienced. Now, inexperienced doesn't mean bad. Doesn't mean bad at all. I'm just saying they haven't gone through the rigors of matches on a big stage yet. And it would have been I didn't think it would be a good matchup for them at the Barclays Center. So they're probably holding that off for a later time, or they're waiting for TM61 to come back, or maybe even Red Dragon takes the titles off them, which I think would be fantastic. But after the match, Sanity comes down to the ring to stare the Authors of Pain down. And this is the match I advocated in one of my NXT reviews going back maybe like 2 weeks. I thought Sanity and Authors of Pain should be the match. I mean, I know it's heel versus heel, but to me that's okay because right now the NXT Tag Team division is at a state where, you're going to have to cross boundaries. You're going to have to cross babyface and heel lines because the division is so depleted at the moment that it's hard to find a babyface team that fans can really get behind and have them go up against Authors of Pain. I didn't think it would work that well. I mean, there are teams in the Performance Center that they have, and I even saw them. I saw the Street Profits, a team that they're going to debut probably very soon. I saw them at NXT Philly, and they were fantastic. They had a fantastic match against Sanity, probably the best match of that night. And they have the God-gifted athletes that contains Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss. That's a very solid tag team as well. They have tag teams coming up through NXT. Triple H just doesn't deem them ready yet. And that's okay. I'm not saying Triple H is wrong. I'm just saying Triple H probably doesn't deem them to be ready for NXT television yet. Nothing wrong with that at all. And here's probably one of the biggest stories of the NXT tapings. Drew McIntyre beats Killian Dane to become the number one contender for the NXT Championship. This is big news because this solidifies the main event for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, which will be Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode, which I think if you're not going to do Roderick Strong versus Bobby Roode, I think that's the perfect main event because I think those two will work very well together. You have Drew McIntyre, who's a hard-hitting, blue-collar type wrestler versus Bobby Roode, who's the white-collar definition of white-collar worker and very technical and methodical in his pace. I think it'd be a very good stylistic matchup, and I can't wait to see what they do in Brooklyn for that NXT Championship. My early prediction, I got to think that Bobby Roode retains. But, there is a side of me saying, yeah, but how long is he going to be in NXT for? Because Vince has to be looking at this guy and saying, he's the next big star in the WWE. He is that next big star that could break through and be a mainstream star. So I'm just wondering how long he's going to be in NXT for. So that's something I'm also taking into account. But if you had to put a gun to my head, I'm going to say Bobby Roode retains. We then have the main event of the tapings, which will actually be the main event of this week's NXT, which is Asuka versus Nikki Cross. Asuka wins to retain the NXT Women's Championship in a last woman standing match. And I saw some pictures from this match, and my lord, it looks brutal as hell. They even did a table spot where Asuka superplexed Nikki Cross through the announce table. To me, Nikki Cross is probably one of my favorite women wrestlers right now because her willingness to take these type of risks. She is literally not afraid to do anything. It is ridiculous. She embodies her character so well. And if you see interviews with her, I saw the Inside of the Ropes interview, and my lord, talk about a complete day and night from Nikki Cross the person to Nikki Cross the character. It's insane. And what Asuka and Nikki Cross are doing right now, I think that should be the match for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I said it in my NXT review a couple weeks ago. I don't know why they're doing Ember Moon versus Asuka when they could do Nikki Cross versus Asuka. This could have been at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and people would probably go wild for it. But that's it for the NXT tapings. I'm going to go over real quick what the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn card is looking like so far. Right now, it's looking like the main event will be Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode, and then the co-main event will be Asuka versus Ember Moon, and then it will be the Authors of Pain versus Sanity, Hideo Itami versus Cash Sono, and probably the UK Championship rematch, because after what those two men did in Chicago, I think Triple H would be crazy not to put these guys on the Brooklyn card as well. So that is it for this video. I'd just like to say thank you for everybody coming out and supporting my videos. I really do appreciate it. You guys don't understand how much I appreciate it. You guys don't understand how much I appreciate it. I put in the work. I'm dedicated to this. This is, even though I have a regular job, this to me is my number one job. This is my number one job, and I don't even get paid for this. But this to me is work, and I take it very seriously. So thank you guys for checking out my videos. I really do appreciate it. And let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys are thinking about NXT going forward into the future. And please do hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. And thank you guys. And it is the weekend, so have a very nice weekend.